Hey folks, I'm Philly B and welcome back to IXION and our blind playthrough of this game. Well, I'm going to admit something, only sort of blind now. I did, between the last episode and this one, decide to go and look at some layouts of how you should build your various sectors, and there's some interesting thoughts on patterns and optimization that are out there. And the conclusion is that your sector 1 here should probably turn into an industrial style sector, which means you move out, let me just pull it up on my other screen here. So you move out all of your food and other stuff out of here, and in place you have waste centers, the tech lab, an electronics factory, a polymer factory, and 2 steel mills, and some other auxiliary stuff like infirmaries and memorials and afterlife centers and all that kind of stuff to keep the happiness, and of course housing for your pop. And that this becomes the main generator of resources for your for the ship. And then in sector 6 over here, this becomes your food sector. And in the food sector, you concentrate, not unsurprisingly, mostly on food, with a combination of insect farms and crop fields. So we have crop fields down here. That's what this is. And they rely on water to coming in, so you need the water fusion station, which is not so difficult to get. And then, of course, you need a dock to bring the stuff in. I have the mushroom hall, which they don't have in any of their things. So I'm wondering if the mushroom hall is not a particularly good use of your waste, and perhaps we will disassemble this and construct the waste processor instead on the other side of the in here in the industrial sector. But we'll wait and do that in a future situation when we're a little more stable and once we've explored a bit of this sector that we're in now. And so this section becomes almost completely farming. There's a couple of small things in here like the processing of water, but otherwise it's just farming and housing. Mostly the optimized quarters, which are these long quarters, this one here. And then the last sector they recommend, and this would be sector 2 in our case, would be a docking sector or a space sector. So it would have 3 EVA airlocks to go out and repair the ship and build external buildings on the ship. So this is like this is this stuff over here. Build this stuff here. So be able to build your solar panels and oops, wrong thing. Engines and externals and stuff like that. As well as maintaining the hull, which is very important at this point in the game because you keep losing hull every time you jump, and keeping this number high is important because once it blows up, the game is over because everybody on the ship will die. Also here we'll have the probe launcher, will get moved over here, and you'll have 3 docking bays, which will be your main intake for external galaxy resources, and then the rest of it is just made up with auxiliary buildings for your workers and civilians, so the infirmary, the memorials, the mess hall, the alternative life center, and the DLS center. And then just a whole lot of stockpiles and batteries. And then you store everything here. And then as need arises in the industrial chamber for raw goods, the stuff over here will move over. Now you may ask, well, what about the stuff that this food area needs? Well, you have its own docking bay in the food area, if I remember correctly. Yes, it does, according to the map. And that just... you get a specific cargo ship here that only does stuff related to this and assign it to here. And so it would be only doing water pickup and food pickup and delivering here, and that's it. And you move everything else out of here that you don't need. And it stores the extra food here and transports the food over to the other areas as needed. Now, that said, these... the 2 other things, this one, the industrial sector, and the space sector over here that will eventually build up, they both don't make their own food, so it's important to supply food. But there's a 4th sector, which will cover the other 3 segments of our ship, so it'd be 3, 4, and 5, Those are population sectors. And I'll just pull that up on my map here. I can remember which tab it was. There it is. And I know you can't see, but it helps me explain what's going on. So these population sectors are just placed to house people. And they have, the cryogenic centers will be in them. The colonization centers will be in them. And as well as a fire station, which I need to fight fires. And then it will just be afterlife centers, memorials, DLS centers, docking bay, mess halls, and stuff like that. So you just store lots and lots and lots of people here. And you move pop around as needed. And so once we're ready, we'll open the fourth sector, and then we'll have all 4 to go. So when we're getting towards that, that's what we'll do. In the meantime, I will start turning this into the depot, the space sector, slowly. I will start converting this to purely industrial by getting most of the food out of here. I think there's only the one left. Yeah, I think it's just this guy that's left. Keep them for now, but and then start optimizing the layout here a little bit, and they have optimization stuff. Maybe move the probe sector over to this side, get that out of here to create some room, and what have you. With that said, let's take a look at the galaxy here, because for the most part I'm playing this game for the role-playing aspect and see what's going on rather than the resource management and base building. But I think it's important to mention those two things because this game relies heavily on those things as part of its gameplay function, as part of the cycle of gameplay you might hear other people talk about. So right now, let's just go over what we have. We have just over 1,000 people, or just about 1,000 people, I should say, alive and well. We have just 350 here sitting in cryo chambers, so we can bump this up even more. A little bit of science sitting around to do some research. We have a lot of food, which is good, and our food production is negative, but just negative, so that's okay. We do have some water sitting around, that's good. A little bit of hydrogen, which we don't have a use for yet, but will get used in something. Looks like hydrogen is consumed by whatever that building is, but I don't know what it is. We have electronics. A few sitting around, that's good. You don't need a lot of electronics in this game, so there's no point in producing lots and lots of them. And each electronic takes 60 silicon, which we only have 84 of at the moment, so we can make one more electronic. Polymers, however, do get used quite a bit. They're the things you build your solar panels out of, and there's a bunch of buildings that require it. We do have a bunch of polymers. I don't know the conversion rate off the top of my head. I don't have it set up here, but we do have a little bit of carbon left to make polymers. And then alloys is the resource that you need. Just a boatload of. Just a whole friggin' massive boatload of. And that's made out of iron. And right now we don't have any iron, and this is a problem. So we're going to have to find this on the map fairly quickly. With that said, I'd like to launch a probe. I don't have any probes available. Okay, let's go over here. That's the wrong button. And let's get a probe ready. I do have a probe being built. I'm going to auto-build probes. I think that's on. Yes. And we'll get that going. Perfect. Do I have a probe going? I do have a probe going over here. Yeah, that's right. From last game, I did have a probe doing its thing. Now, I do have my researchers researching. There are 2 spots here. The collapsed food district, production district, and the destroyed commando center. If you remember correctly, we discovered, not correctly, if you remember from last time, we discovered the UN ship, the Etamanaki, I think is how you say it. It's not, Etamanaki, I believe, is a volcano. On Earth that's named after.
A probe has completed its scan.
Perfect. So we'll set up our, I'll get back to that story in a second. We'll set up our mining ship to do that.
Request awaits your attention.
Get to the request in a second too. We found the Etamanaki here destroyed and spread out across this sector. So we found the food production area and a command center here, and we're trying to research both of them. So let's see what these people have to say. Hopefully it's not too much. Storing some extra people over there for now. We got lots of food in here. And the requests are over here. So first off, Sector 6 has contained potential new crew members in cryopods for a while now, and there's no active cryo center. The crew Seems extremely concerned. No one likes cryonic sleep. 30 cycles, or let them rest. I'm gonna let them rest. They can be a little unhappy, I don't care. And Administrator, the debris field we have entered is mostly composed of corpses. Okay, people are upset about it. That's unfortunate. Not much I can do about it. I would like whatever ship is assigned here. So that's all 3. Over here, do I have any ships assigned to... This is the docking bay, right? No, this is the docking bay. I do not. Okay, so I'm going to unassign... You from here. And I'm going to reassign the Narbuk here. And then I'm going to reassign you over here. There we go. Now we're going to get the other ones, not the Narbuk. So the Narbuk is assigned to 6, and the only thing I want you to collect is ice and people as a secondary. Food as well. Perfect, because that's going to our food sector. The Stoutsky, I want you to collect this. And carbon is the other thing I found. So we'll do that. Collapse food, perfect. Upon entering the area, our crew of the Sensitive were confronted, Sensitive is our science ship, were confronted by a UN soldier exhibiting extreme signs of dementia. Yelling the words, "Die, Dolo, scum," they opened fire on our team. The confrontation ended with the depressurization of the area due to a projectile fire and the death of both the soldier and 2 of the Sensitive's team. Investigating what they could afterwards, the team concluded that this was a place of indoctrination and the surrounding production zone workers. Remains of the statue dedicated to the glory of the Etamanaki commanders were found, as well as other art pieces aimed at condemning the enemies of humanity, Dolos and Ash Tanganites. Okay. Investigate the vegetal zone. Please and thank you. So it wants us to locate a viable planet and investigate the command center, which we're working on. This is really bad right now. There we go.
An accident has occurred in the Tiqqan.
That's fine. I think it's not fine, but it's fine because I have automatic updating. Well, that reminds me, I should go here, go science. No, that's polymer. Where's the science guy? You science? Here, the tech lab. Do I have the crew for this? Not really. Let's do it anyhow, and let's get some upgrades going. So now you really want to get upgrades to some stuff. So the stockpile, I could store 10% more resources. That could be useful. I'm really thinking about that. The science ship just moves faster. Everything else I don't have. So we'll leave that alone. The mining ship moves faster and can endure dangerous weather. I might get the dangerous weather one for the mining ship. We'll see. Cargo ship just moves faster. The engine, the Tycoon moves faster. That could be very useful. Docking bay. Don't need construction speed. That's fine. Don't need construction speed. That's fine. Probe construction speed is fine, and faster probes I don't really need. Increase the production of science to 3 units every cycles. That just makes science go faster and reduces the research speed is increased. Okay. What else do we got here? Lowers the amount of polymers to make them. Mess hall, more crew. All of that doesn't seem super. Raise the capacity of our batteries. That might be good. Charge speed, don't care. Steel mill. Power reduction cost. It's only 2. We'll see. Colonization. Training time. Okay. I could get waste treatment center. That's the one they recommended in the guides to get. So we'll consider that. Crop farm. Food production is increased. That could be very helpful. What else do we got? The DLS center. Policy cooldown. I don't find the cooldown particularly inhibiting. Okay, let's get the waste center. We'll get that going. Head back out here and pause. Got our ships collecting iron. I'm gonna bump the speed to 2. Since we're not doing much. Really don't have the alloys to do much anyhow. Oh, this number is real bad. What is going on? Damaged buildings. Good, damaged buildings is gone.
Has completed a task.
You should be unloading materials, right?
Hull integrity below 50%.
I know. I'm not sure why they're not doing anything here. Let me just check that. That concerns me. We're at 84. What's the problem? Has no connected stockpile with alloys. Yes, there are no alloys here. I have alloys here. I have no alloys here. Okay. So this doesn't need alloys, so I'm going to need to transfer. This is the problem. From Sector 2, alloys to be set to 0. Max, no. Minimum, 0. Please. Sector 1, yes. Sector 6, yes. Okay, so that should move the alloys out. Here we go. That should solve some of the problem here. I'm just going to confirm that's what's happening so we can repair our hull and not blow up. We're also starting to make alloys again, so that'll help. Here we go. 1, 2. Come on. There we go. Now we're back to the positive again. Alright. You're making stuff. Perfect. Alright, so let's check this. Destroy command center. Administrator, the Remus coordinates aren't here. As you know, the Vol coordinates are incredibly complex algorithms that require advanced technology, and their storage and application. We did identify a storage area within the command center where such equipment, perhaps including that stolen from the oh my god, that word is hard to say. Protagoras should have been held. It has been ripped away, shorn by cutting lasers, and taken. There are some small hope a single damaged calculator terminal was found. Power supplied from the Tiqqun has allowed access to it, and it appears that the Edamanaki's final moments they attempted to address the colossal damage done to their ship. The crew was able to identify and record the self-similar signature of their attacker as they withdrew. Perhaps they hoped to later mount some sort of pursuit to recover the stolen coordinates of the Remus. We are now in possession of that signature. It belongs to the Paranesi, a ship of the Black Market Society. This is where our hope fades. The few officers' logs we have found that detail the attack are terrifying. It seems highly likely that the coordinates of the Remus are now on board of the Paranesi. Having processed the data we have found within the center, and thanks to the old records of now inactive distress signals, we have been able to locate other parts of the Etamanaki which have been drifted across the system. Okay. Investigate more or determine previous mission objective. Let's do that first. Excellent, and then we'll get the collapsed food in just a second here. Not really hurting on food, but it's what I found. Oh, I should do a probe again. Let's keep doing that. We'll launch a probe. Any other interesting sites around here? It looks like there's one nearby here. Like right there. Let that go.
A science ship team has completed a task.
Drilling through several layers of debris, the Sensitives team have reached the vegetable production area. They were greeted by floating corpses of UN soldiers and crew. A few district workers seem to have reached the emergency cryopods before depressurization. Hydroponic technology was used aboard the Etamanaki to grow fruits and vegetables in large vertical aisles. Recovered yields reports detail hierarchical rationing reserved the rarest foods for highest ranking crew members. Although the remaining food production facilities are now unusable, a few intact storage containers were found by the team, received resources being prepared for extraction. New technology upgrade. Personalized instructions upgraded to unlock the crop farm. Cool. Let's investigate the animal pens. Let's take a look at that. Crop farm upgrade. So if we go over to, over here. Click on this, and I go to crop farm. Crop farm. We're doing waste management. Where are you, crop farm? Insect farm. Crop farm. Yeah, just accelerated growth. Yeah. Looks like it might have given us that tech if we didn't already have it researched, but I already have it researched, so that's unfortunate to know. Real happy we have iron coming in. We don't have a lot, but we do have sun coming in. Our little ship is doing as best as it can. You have a lot of water sitting around, so you're okay. Yeah. I should... What is this? Corpse field. The station is surrounded by floating corpses. The crew's morale will be affected, okay? You need food. Are you not getting food? Do we not have food over here? I do. Let's check the food. You should be getting a min, let's say 50 now. Sector 1. Sector 2 should have a minimum of 50 as well. No, you should have a minimum of 30, sorry. No, 30 for 2, that's correct. And Sector 6 should have a minimum of 50, yeah. There we go. Why is this red? 52 food is required for the 514 crew. Okay, I have too many crew here. I need to move 14 out. Do I have any space over here? Let's move 14 people out. And I'll go take a look at that science thing. So from 1 to 2, yeah. I want to move only non-workers, and I want to move 14, please.
Science ship team has completed a task.
Excellent. So let's take a look at these. Let's do the food thing. Was it? You hear the dog bark? I heard a dog bark. Production area has been gutted for several hundred meters. The huge amount of floating carcasses has made it difficult for the team to differentiate between what is animal and what is not. The team did find several working cryopods and have prepared for these extractions. The production seems mainly to have been galliform. Don't know what that is. Though there are signs that rarer meats were also produced. The Sensitives team wishes to specifically note that they found a cryopod containing a dog. The owner seems to have decided that the animal's life was more important than their own. Their corpse hangs onto the pod. Let me just see what a galliform is here. It would be nice if that had a little hover over so I could figure out what it is. Galliform. Oh, galliform are land birds, so like quails, probably chickens, peacocks, things like that. Interesting. Yeah, turkeys, chickens, quails, and other land fowl. Huh. And that provide a new home for the dog. Absolutely. And then we'll check this one. Summary of intelligence on the Anunnaki. By powering the command center, the Thales system team was able to extract and analyze the core mission data. The Anunnaki was a UN ship initially launched to find other exoplanets. Early data logs from the voyage indicate a glaring lack of preparation to accomplish such attacks. In the absence of a habitable planet, they seem to have concentrated on the search for what the UN has designated as enemies of humanity, the Dolos and the Ashtaganites. Ashtangites? Whatever. By boarding the Protagoras, the Anunnaki was able to locate Remus. Cool. And investigate the attack. Please and thank you. We will continue on our way. How much food do we have floating around here? We got a whole bunch. Good. A whole bunch of people. I really should get a population thing going. I don't quite have it set up yet. Mostly because we don't have the appropriate amount of stuff. Maybe I should get... Oh, I can't get a second miner because I don't have another bay. And how much would it cost to make a bay, I wonder? I wanted to make a bay over here. We got the waste treatment plant, which is 95 and 2. I want space, and I want a
transfer complete.
Docking bay. Oops. Docking bay is 60. Costs 14 and 12. Yeah, I don't have 60. Well, we're just gonna have to wait for a bit. Let's see what we can do. Well, that's working away, that's working away. I'm gonna send another probe out. 0 available. Can I turn off the probe bay? Is that the problem? Auto build on, yeah. Yes, please auto build. I thought I had turned it off. Turned it on before, but it looks like I had turned it off. So I'd really like to reorganize these various sectors to be more efficient than they are now. The problem is I can't move buildings, which makes sense because you really just can't move buildings normally. So I might, if we hit a lull point, I might off camera try and reorganize this a bit. I think the first thing I should reorganize should be the industrial sector to get 2 alloy workers going. Yeah. But let's read this last task, and then it'll probably be the end of the episode, and see what happens here. Administrator, I did not expect this decision. I would remind you that the Dolos regulations prohibit animals on board the Tycoon. I do postulate, however, that the animals present may be good for morale. Excellent. Man's best friend. I got a little achievement. You can't see it because I don't have it on the screen here, but it shows up a little dog collar with a little bone dog tag. It's very cute. Okay, leave the wreckage of the district. Now we have a dog. So I'm going to let this collect the science, and then they can move on to do the industrial zone. Actually, it should go back because it's a short, yeah, short staff. But I will do that in a minute. Let's see if we got the dog trait over here somewhere. So I have a lot of homeless. In Sector 1, Sector 2, and Sector 6 are not too bad, but Sector 1 has just an absolute butt ton of homeless people. Yeah. Really gotta think about how I'm gonna do this. And I do want to get the hell out of here and get out of the corpse field.
A science ship
Is this
team
all
has
corpse?
completed a task.
Not sure. Yeah, that should take us to the end of this episode. Hope you're enjoying the series. In the next episode, we'll see what's going on with the destroyed commando center. And we'll move on from there. Hopefully gather more resources, be able to upgrade our ship a little bit more, maybe organize a bit. And certainly sort out some of this homelessness problem that I have. See you then. Have a great day.